Good morning, Acadiana, and welcome to another edition of Morning Coffee with Big A
and Special T.
We're happy to be coming to you from Cypress Street Radio, AOC Community Media's streaming broadcast.
Look for us every day of the week. Our 8 a.m. show will start your morning off right. That's right, in a good way.
Not right as in radical right. We bring you good ideas, good pastimes, and who knows what else.
Yeah, be careful of that. With the progressive flair. Our 7 p.m. stream is a great backdrop for some decaf and peace of mind. So, no matter what time it is, no matter what you're drinking, whether it's coffee or something a little stronger or even water, just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think our music is gone. So, how have you been doing, Al? We had this 2-week run, so we're kind of catching up with what's all happening around the world.
Well, I'm hanging in there. Another day in beautiful Lafayette.
Yeah. Watching the weather.
Yeah. Let's see.
Did you hear about the new storm? What they're calling it, some sort of code. It almost sounds like the name they gave the coronavirus.
No, I don't think I have.
It's like some words and a number.
Really?
And I thought that they would have something that began with a T, like Tommy or Teresa, But
where is the storm?
In the Gulf of Mexico.
The one down there in the Bay of Campeche or somewhere down there?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a storm. I mean, I saw something about that.
Maybe it's a smart code they're giving it.
You get into the Greek letters or something like that, but I thought this one was going to have a W, like
Willie.
Wilfred or something like that. But, no, yeah, really. I mean, I think that, but I haven't looked today on that.
Okay.
But, go ahead.
I looked this morning and they had some strange thing with a number after it. And it looked almost like COVID-19. I mean, not the storm, but the name they were referring to. So maybe there's a syntax of some type that I don't know about with regard to the elevation of what you call a storm before it actually becomes organized. Maybe all of these.
Like Investment 21 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Invest 21.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought I saw that a while back, within the past year or two, but I was thinking, that's an interesting name. I thought it was kind of odd.
Yeah. So I don't understand that at all. But we're in mid-September. We've passed mid-September.
Yes.
I think that our days are going to start. Well, they've been going shorter.
Getting shorter. Yeah. I'm going to go with you on. I bet they are.
Yeah, they're getting shorter.
Like they do this time of year all the time. Every year it seems like.
Yeah, and then they screw it up. They change the time. You get used to. You just get where you really feel comfortable with the time the way it is, and then somebody has to go in and jack the hours around.
Well, it's like the Native American proverb, and only a white man could take a strip of cloth and cut one foot off this end and put it on this end and think you have a longer cloth, But,
oh my gosh. Well, we did some study, if you recall, a few years back on the show about the changing of the time. And we actually found where Benjamin Franklin thought that would be a good idea. but that the ones who actually implemented it the first time, and it seems that it kind of goes along with this, are people who are industrialized, warfaring groups. Like, I think the first ones to really put it into play were the Nazis.
That I don't know.
Yeah,
possible.
I think so. During World War II, they wanted people working longer, so they did more daylight, so they wouldn't, they would.
See, then they should just set the clock back an hour every day, just like, and then reset it when they come in, So
yeah.
You could get an extra hour and nobody would even know about it.
Well, some people would know. All them smart people that they, did away with. That keep all the. Well, anyway, there's a whole big story about that.
Oh yeah, I saw something recently by Meyer, I believe was the guy's name, and I think the book is "We Thought We Were Free" or something like that, and it's very
eye-opening.
Eye-opening would be one way to put it. Just like there's a show that I saw on Netflix here recently called The Social Dilemma, and it would amaze you the amount of computer power and technical aspects that are being used just to get you to buy stuff or to get you to do this or that or whatever.
Absolutely. I think we're aware of it, but we've become numb as far as thinking about it.
You wouldn't, I've been aware of it for a long time, but you see this documentary, and these are by the guys that designed it in the first place.
Was Snowden one of them? No.
Who?
Snowden. The guy that told on the government and is now in Russia?
Well, this is like some of the the computer geeks and, the Silicon Valley that, this is, you just need to see it because, like I say, I thought I knew something, but you see how, or at least me, I saw how little I really knew as to how sophisticated this is and how, it's like to get, it's, the primo level of brainwashing, basically. Mm-hmm. And you don't even know it. It's like remember they used to do at movies, they had the subliminal message, go buy popcorn, go buy popcorn,
They do have a movie for popcorn. I wonder why.
Yeah.
And then they insert the smell of buttered roasted popcorn into the movie theater, and everybody's like,
oh, well, and they made it illegal finally, I think. But this makes that look like, Fred Flintstone, basically. But, this is...
That's like the spinning camera for when you change scenes, just take the camera and go and make it spin.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I think maybe I'm sure I've seen that, but I guess I'd have to...
I'm not that much older than you.
No, not really.
It's like Leave It to Beaver and the Mr. Ed and My Favorite Martian. Those kind of shows had that.
I'm kind of thinking about Batman. Where they zoom in
Batman
and zoom out. The O one.
With Robin.
Yeah, Batman and Robin
and Penguin.
That was pretty funny.
I had to see that every night. It was so strange. It was like I really, really wanted to see that show. And it was so silly.
Well, it was, but that it's like when they'd be climbing up the side. This is what we used to joke about. They'd be climbing up the side of the building, and their tether would be sagging. It was funny.
It's interesting the way people did things, early on, like the Wizard of Oz with the tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sheet and the string.
Well, I guess special effects have come quite a ways since
absolutely
the 1930s.
I don't know. What will people do if they don't have their electricity?
Well, I don't know. My family in Lake Charles is they're on the verge of getting theirs back, I think. But
good.
Probably. I never enjoyed it.
Do they have a timeline on that? I mean, do they have a target date where they really think it might be back up?
My older son was saying, I think this was yesterday, he was saying this, I think 3 days or something like that. But I've heard of some places coming on, it just depends on.
So next week, possibly. Next week.
Yeah, I think maybe.
While you're watching this show, when we're really into the repeat days, then they'll have a power at Lake Charles.
Yeah.
Lots of damage done. And now, they had Sally. We thought Sally was going to come our way.
Yeah.
But then Sally went off to the east. Yeah. And now there's supposedly some sort of a really dry trough, two back to back, that are coming down right along the coast that will, they think, prevent another hurricane for a while this thing is kind of sitting on us with no rain, whatever. So it might have a little rain, but that it's gonna be like a barrier, like a firewall for the storms, that they'll just pause outside off the coast because of this dry air and go one way or the other, but not.
I was seeing something today about that.
Invest.
Yeah, the Invest down there near Mexico. That basically it's just a area of precipitation. I mean, I think the possibilities are somewhat favorable for it to strengthen and organize. But the guy was saying there's a cold front heading this way.
That would be nice. It feels kind of hot.
Yeah, well, it should steer, depending on how the timing works and all that. If it does form and if it does come up this way, it could steer it over to the east, or then there's other factors depending on the timing. It could steer it to the west and send it into Mexico. So it's weather's pretty complex science.
Yeah, we can tell by the times they get the forecast wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of often. But anyway, it looks like Lafayette is going to have some virtual entertainment going on. We got two things going on. We got the virtual entertainment and the another virtual entertainment. There's the ones with music and the ones with a stroke of comedy and tragedy.
A comic tragedy, huh?
With debates. These debates.
Oh.
We got 4 of them coming up.
Yeah, I saw that.
But on October, let me see, when is the first debate? The first debate's actually going to be in September, on a Thursday night. It'll be from Cleveland, Ohio, and it will be Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I really think they need to have 2 separate stages so Trump will know where he's supposed to stand.
Oh, yeah?
So he won't be floating and breathing on all these people, since he doesn't wear a mask hardly ever. He did wear one photo op the other day, put on his mask with all his army folks, marched down the hall. But he doesn't do that very often. I would feel like I would not want to be close to him.
Yeah, I would concur.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. So, there was some talk about the debates in 2016 and how he kind of sort of made his body right there next to Hillary, behind her, breathing down her neck. there was a lady who is a lady mayor. I don't know if it's of New Orleans or someplace in Louisiana. She said she would have turned around and socked him right in the face. And he'd be looking at her feet when she was through.
Yeah. Well, that's...
She wouldn't put up with that.
Well, that's there's a lot of debate tactics. I mean, that's a little bit too overt.
I think it was very disgusting.
Oh, yeah. But it's, I mean, there's training on it because there's tactics that people have been using for centuries.
It's like what you do on the football field, what you communicate to the nice guy across the line from you.
Well,
like I'm going to make mincemeat out of you.
That's instead of trying to get to the truth, which of course, ideally that's what people could be doing, but it's just like who can win the debate, who can score the points. It's like kind of like a boxing match, I mean, it's not.
I don't know.
And with these debates, I mean, I'm sure this is going to be I guess interesting. I guess I can say that about him.
What do you know about Chris Wallace, this anchor from Fox News who's supposed to moderate the first debate?
Well,
is he the one who actually has asked the president questions from Fox News? That
I don't know. I mean, I don't keep up with Fox News. I mean, but I mean, I have a picture in my head of who I think Chris Wallace is. I'm not sure if it's the right one, but
we'll have to put this mugshot on our Facebook page so we can see the pictures of all four of the moderators, so people will know. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I thought about. Have you heard of Joe Rogan?
He's one of. No.
Okay, he's kind of a independent. I mean, I'm not sure what his background is, where he was before that, but I've seen sometimes when he's interviewed. Well, I mean, I guess so far, I mean, there's no indication that there's going to be any debate with him as the moderator, but
it's two men and two women. And the guy, there's a man from Fox and there's a man from C-SPAN, and then there's a woman who's going to do the second debate, which will be the vice president candidates, and that is a lady from USA Today.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I think, is a woman who is a news person for NBC.
That's going to be interesting.
That's the one that is going to take place in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I think Wisconsin. Is that right? There's Ohio.
Michigan, maybe.
And then Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, maybe Nashville. Let me think.
I don't know. I saw that, but I'm not
Cleveland,
sure.
Ohio, Miami, Florida. One of them's in Nashville and one of them's in Wisconsin. I think the last one's in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So Tennessee is a pretty progressive place, at least on the east side.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fairly progressive. It's got its high points.
Well,
they had a really good program. They had the model program there for providing free education for higher learning in community colleges. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely something. I've been doing a bit of study on, economic systems and, what we've done here in this country basically, I mean, it's been a trend for a long time, but it really took a sharp downturn with Reagan. And I mean, it's just pretty much imploded the whole system. And, and I'm sure some people think, oh, it's great, it's the greatest country in the world, and all this, once again, propaganda that you hear. But
yes.
That's
They've
why,
been doing it for years.
Huh?
They've been doing it for years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we really thought we were the greatest. We have songs about being the greatest. We have.
Well, I mean, it's when you get people to believe stuff that, it's like everything's great,
until they go someplace.
Yeah, now we can't
go someplace and see.
What was it? All the countries that couldn't come here, for the longest time, or we didn't want people from that country. And now there's no place on the globe that we can, as an American, with an American passport, and probably, anybody from the USA, there's no country on the planet that wants us going there right now.
Probably not.
No, it's not probably. It's
definite.
Yeah, because
well, I don't know. The Dominican Republic, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, there could be a couple of countries.
Well, they actually were the one country that voted for the proposal that the United States wanted the United Nations to pass with regard to something with the Middle East. And they said, and Iran, and we're like, no, we're not gonna, no. But the Dominican Republic stood by the United States of America.
Well, I'm glad we're
the only
not
one.
Totally alone.
Yeah, we're not totally alone.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they got this thing now. I don't know. I don't know about the stuff with the Arab Emirate and
UAE.
Israel.
I haven't looked at that too much either. I saw something about it, but I haven't.
It looks kind of like interesting.
Really?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. There's so much grandstanding and things that, aren't really true.
Yeah.
That you just don't know. You just really don't know.
Well, if you dig and you look at what the motivations and who's going to get what out of it, and what the long-standing rivalries have been, and that's like, here's a chance for this country to get back at that country, or whatever.
Yeah, I think that everything that's going on right now is specifically targeted not at so much doing good as wanting to make a pathway to re-election.
Well, yeah, that's a
I think that is the main driver for anything that seems like it might be good. Like this recent thing about Trump saying to the Senate, oh, you need to give an incentive. I'm like, okay, that would be something that would be a killer for some people to decide that that's a good president.
An incentive to...
Like a check in the mail.
Oh, well, I mean, if we don't, the economy, and from what the people I've been listening to, and these are, economists and scholars, that, it's not like this is just some, 18-year-old.
Oh, yeah, the thing, they've done it before, and that's what, has always gotten the people out, is actually having the support of the government to get through this.
Well, we have to. I mean, otherwise, the money they're putting into Wall Street, that's great for all, top 1%.
Yeah.
And, but it's not getting there. It's not going through the economy, through the common people.
No.
And stimulating the businesses and percolating up to the larger businesses and blah, blah, blah.
It definitely needs to help those people having such a hard time that through the true trickle effect are going to affect everything else. I think we need a little break. I think we need some really interesting, cool, visible, exciting music.
Well, I can hang with that.
Okay. I think we got something fun in store for everyone.
All right.
That's how long it took for the battleground state of Pennsylvania to report its primary results this spring. Why? One election official tells NBC News their biggest holdup was due to the time it took to remove ballots from their envelopes before they could be officially counted. Voting experts say there's an easy way to fix this. Allow ballot processing to begin earlier. This can be done via state legislatures before Election Day.
It means we get all of those ballots through and we can report totals much sooner.
More than a dozen states don't allow officials to touch mail-in ballots until Election Day. In swing states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin especially, allowing processing early could make a huge difference.
This is similar to if, for instance, April 15th and the tax deadline, if we told people submit your taxes, but didn't allow the IRS to start processing returns until April 15th and expected them to have everything out that night. That's kind of the same thing.
Processing is not the same thing as counting or tabulating.
Processing is when we are receiving and then signature verification and then extracting the ballot from the envelope, flattening that out, and then even scanning. But it's not tallying, so it's not summarizing the results. It's just scanning and capturing the information, almost kind of like your data entering into a spreadsheet. But you're not actually hitting sum on the column.
In previous election cycles, many of these states only saw 3 to 5% of votes come in by mail. So the workload was manageable and states didn't have a reason to change the timeline. But this year, due to the coronavirus pandemic, officials say mail-in turnout could be 10 times higher.
Why wouldn't a state want to start processing ballots early?
I have no idea. I think it's just this myth around the opportunity for people to do something nefarious with that may have access to that information.
What's the difference between early voting and early processing?
Early voting is in that you're casting a ballot either on a machine or you're filling out your ballot. It depends on the state in terms of how they handle all of that, but you're not capturing results. You're not tallying what comes off of those ballots, even if you process early voting ballots.
While some states are calling for additional election funding, this earlier process could actually help in that department.
It's going to cost states more money that don't allow this up front. They also are going to need a lot more equipment. So if you have a piece of equipment that you can use over a 4-week period or a 3-week period or even a 2-week period, you're going to need a lot less of it than if you put all of your capacity on one day. You're going to need a lot more volume and equipment, scanners, ballot counting machines than you would if you can use that device over a longer period of time.
Back in those key swing states, Wisconsin's state legislature is out of session, so any change to the law is unlikely. Both Pennsylvania and Michigan have introduced legislation that would allow early processing, but they've made no headway. Mike Shirkey, the Republican majority leader in Michigan, told reporters in February, quote, "If I had to choose between early voting, early counting versus late reporting, I'll take late reporting all day long." He also said the proposed changes are a, quote, "dangerous precedent." Shirkey did not respond to our request for an updated comment.
Election officials just often have one hand tied behind their backs because of lack of funding, poor policies, outdated laws, poor procedures, whatever it might be. And if we could just support them and listen to them when they're making these requests, they're not making them for partisan purposes. They're making them because they've identified an operational gap that we need to solve.
So we can look at the idea of vote by mail and what it's going to do to the systems. At least Louisiana's not on that list of people who are having to look at their rules and try to change things so that they can actually get through all this. It's going to be it's going to impact the number of votes that come in through the mail.
Well, there's 5 that have been vote by mail for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
you look at the soldiers, all the different armed forces, wherever they may be deployed. Overseas, they're voting by mail. And you have these people that say, oh, it's a commie plot or something like that. And basically what it boils down to, of course, a lot of these people have just been brainwashed to the point to where, they just they can't see what's going on. But what it amounts to is there are certain groups that don't want people voting because the more people that vote,
the less votes they're going to get.
Well, I mean, it's like, there's already a certain people that are going to vote against the best interest anyway because they've been brainwashed. It's like like I was telling you about that show. And that's just one aspect. There's so many ways that people are made to believe, like the communists, the socialists. Oh no, we're all, this is right. I mean, this started right after, World War II, and the Soviets lost more people than any country, and they were largely responsible for the defeat of the Axis. But you don't want, people don't want to teach that because commies are bad, And this goes back to, why is this? Well, because, we like the capitalistic system, and we like everybody to, be subjugated and, keep the classes separate and all that. Although, you can climb up in any system, really. But it's amazing the way people are, there's such an effort to keep people down, to hold people down, stifle their creative abilities, et cetera, et cetera. But what were we going to talk about? We're going to talk about something about.
We're going to talk about the third. Actually, the lady talked and she said that there's about a dozen states who are not allowed. They don't allow their registrars, the people who conduct the voting, to even open the mail until the voting date, and that there's actually only 13 states who do that, but that's too many, because the fact is that they can do all the prep work if they are allowed to, and get that all out of the way, and it's not going to cost that much money, but they'll be able to do it as it flows in, as opposed to having to wait until like the election day. Michigan's governor right now is working to have a bill that changes that situation. South Carolina is having some emergency gatherings of their legislators to, I assume, look into things like this. But the states, it's really interesting. Louisiana is not one of them. We at least do have an option to vote by mail, and the registrars are able to touch the mail before election day.
Well, I know there's been a fair amount of controversy on, because how they were saying, and this just happened recently, within the past few days, about a judge ruling that, you're going to have to let people vote by mail for more things. I mean, because, when you get right down to it, we're supposed to be a democratic, people are supposed to, being able to vote is a big part of the system here, even though we'll say, no, we're a republic,
we know what's best for you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's definitely representative. The idea is the people are supposed to be able to have some input on what's going on,
Right, and the representatives are supposed to represent the majority of the people,
not the lobbyists.
Yeah, and for the good of the people, they might slide in a little bit of their own goodness, and that's what they do. But anyway, the states that do this are Alabama,
These are the states that you have to wait.
But a lot of the end states, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Maryland. There's the W states, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Anyway, they're searching. New Hampshire is one. Pennsylvania. It's a big state. The Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Anyway, they're looking at their rules because with the pandemic affecting the desire of people to be able to vote safely, there's going to be a lot more mail than usual.
Yeah, and with the goings on at the post office, which to me that's criminal. You know, I mean that's
that should never have happened.
Well, I mean it's amazing that you know it's like you know a lot of people take action against stuff like that once they find out about it. But in this case, I mean, it was, this was buried for pretty, long enough to.
They're going to issue now when it's dire consequences.
Well, I mean, to me, that's criminal activity. I mean, there's just no, I don't know what else you'd call it.
It's wasteful too. I mean, look, they had these resources, and they just throw them out in the.
Oh yeah. Okay, those 13 states that you were talking about. It's Alabama, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So I thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, there's 13 of them. They said a dozen, but there's 13.
Yeah.
Lucky number.
Yeah. Well, it's the.
But like Alabama and Mississippi are right next to us.
Yeah.
They're our neighbors. Yeah. They're our neighbors and having a lot of hard times because of things that are history,
Yeah,
I don't know. Florida and Texas are kind of a little different, but these three states are usually always the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or education and getting things done and getting opportunities. No, I don't have COVID. I don't. I promise I don't. I got tested just the other day. They gave me some meds. They said I don't have COVID. It's an allergy thing. But I was so worried. Took my temperature. Didn't have any fever, but I was really coughing. So you can cough and not have fever and not be COVID.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It would be nice if everybody would just wear a mask for a little while.
Absolutely.
And we contain it. I mean, it's just so, all this stuff about the freedom and liberty. Well, yeah, really.
Well, we had that thing where we were supposed to stay inside, but some people didn't even do that and didn't wear masks either.
Well, I actually read something the other day about the masks. People wearing a mask can actually act like a vaccine, because if you get, some of the COVID virus on your mask, it's a small amount and very little of it actually transmits to
you
where you can inhale it, but it's enough possibly to stimulate
immunity.
Exactly. The antibody production, because it's But it's not, but it's, I mean, that's the thing, you know, if the body gets just a little bit of it at a time, typically, then it can manufacture the antibodies, which is, of course, what the body's supposed to do.
Right.
But you know, it's.
Well, I know 2 friends of mine who have tested positive and survived. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful because these are 2 very special friends.
Yeah.
And but not everybody's that lucky. And one of these ladies is African American.
Yeah.
And she survived. So
well,
really glad.
I think we're up somewhere around 200,000.
I think the last number I heard was 196,000.
Yeah, that
which means we could do 4,000 easy in a day, I think.
About 1,000 a day, I think, is what the average has been. So
this week.
Probably, yeah. By the time a lot of people are watching this, it'll be over 200,000.
200,000 people. Is that the cases?
No,
or the deaths?
The deaths, I think, in the United States are 5 or 6 million, something like that.
Oh, the cases.
Right.
Cases are over 5 million.
Yeah.
Wow. And worldwide, man, oh man. We're the worst. Well, we're not supposedly the worst.
No, I think we are.
Are we?
If we're not the worst, we're very close. We might be number 2, but, you know.
I know we were running neck and neck with Brazil for a while.
Yeah, maybe it was Brazil. Maybe that's the one I was thinking about. But you know, it's just, it's like, you know, people talking about, well, I don't want to wear a seatbelt because it restricts my movement, you know.
Oh, yeah, and then you really
get
hit by somebody and you go through the windshield and hit the ground going at, 50 miles an hour. That'll take care of you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard on the old body.
The only bad thing is like if you go into a water, but how many people are going to do that?
Well, that and, you know, it's... Right, it's a very small percentage, and probably people are going to be thinking about unbuckling their seatbelt in a situation like
Absolutely.
that.
Like ASC. We had a place in Houston where it's close to downtown, and it's like where the Pierce elevator, you probably know this place, where the Pierce elevator comes past downtown, and there's a section where you're in downtown and you're trying to exit and you have to go under all of those overpasses and stuff and then come back up. I think it's Allen Parkway.
Could be.
And when it rains really hard, there have been a number of deaths where people have gone into that water and end up submerged. They have to send divers to get them. Yes. Yes, absolutely. And for that to still be there, you know, I think what they may do now is put like roadblocks, you know, before it gets
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, they put the road closed, you know.
I guess it would be Buffalo Bayou there that would be flooding.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So that's a really cool place, though. They have the neatest dog park. And speaking of parks and things, let me just say that we're going to have a festival. We have more time to talk about this, but Festival at Cadiz is going to be online and available for people to see, as are the debates.
Yeah, I heard the cats. I heard they made the cats pay for that dog park.
The cats?
Yeah.
No, they have a little they have like a parking meter that when you go in, well, maybe that's where they buy dog treats or something. But there's actually, I think it looks like a parking meter that you do stuff. I didn't go in because I didn't have a dog, but I was watching it. It's really fun, and it's divided into. We need to do this in Lafayette. Really, they have it. Maybe they'll do it over at the horse farm, where they have a part of the park. Both sides get some water action, where you have like a little deck out of cement, and you can walk out on this island and throw your frisbees and water balls and things in the water, and the dogs jump off and get them and bring them back. It's so cute. Yeah. You got little dogs on one side and big dogs on the other, and it's divided by a fence.
Yeah, we could get
Let's do that.
Was it Dr. Seuss that wrote a book on the dogs, red dog, blue dog, but one
big
dog,
little dog.
Right?
Big dog, little dog.
You were saying something about what was going to be broadcast, the Downtown Live or something like that?
The Downtown Live, I think, is doing something, but the Festival Acadie is going to be the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and they really have a good lineup of people who are going to be performing. And it's the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think. And they have a kickoff, at the beginning of the stream. And like the last day, they have Chubby Carrier, and on Saturday they have Zachary Richard, and they got a whole bunch of people, whole bunch of lineups. And you can go online, you can Google it, and you can pull up the whole lineup.
Like we used to play Zachary Richard when we could do stuff like that.
I'm reading this book. It's so funny because I read lots of books, and I often read really serious books, but I was just like, we got this COVID thing and everything's so serious in my head. So anyway, I found this book, Tales of Margaritaville, written by Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know that he was like a Louisiana boy. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, tell you the truth.
Yeah, he's a Louisiana guy, or at least he's very familiar with Louisiana. And he has like these little short stories or whatever that, like there's one about this cowboy somewhere up in north that, always wanted to be on an island somewhere. And I think he makes some of it up, but maybe, know some people who did some of this stuff. And like this football team that always lost, but they got somebody who came in who was kind of out there as far as, being a coach. He'd actually been a football player and he knew what he was doing, and this team had never won, and talks about the game and how they went. But he talked about going into some place like a bar or whatever, and that Zachary Richard was there singing, and everybody was all excited that he's like the rock star, of Louisiana. I was like, oh, look at that. I mean, he knew this stuff. So anyway, it's been really entertaining. I mean, I'm almost done with it. I read it at night, and then I just get where I'm so tired, I just can't go on.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't take me long. Sometimes I read one paragraph and I'm dead. I mean, I'm dead to the world. But anyway, really cute. So I like that. And so anyway, but big lineup for a Festival Acadie.
Well, it sounds good. I mean,
and then the debates are coming up.
Yeah.
And we've got, the first one is September the 29th, and all of them start at 8 o'clock Louisiana time. Yeah. And all of them are supposed to be 90 minutes, and all of them have a moderator.
Yeah.
And they have 2 guys and 2 girls, not together. The first one's a guy. The second one is the vice presidential debate. And that's got a girl moderator. And then the next one has a guy, and the last one has a girl. So it's girl, boy. No, it's boy, girl, boy, girl.
Well,
yeah,
that's a pretty good spacing there.
Right, but they're all from news groups. The first one's Fox News, that's the guy, and then the next one is USA Today, and that's the girl. And the next one is C-SPAN, and that's a guy. And the last one is NBC, and that's a girl.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see the female moderator there for the presidential. I hope she...
The vice president or the president?
No, I mean, the vice president, that might be somewhat interesting, but to see it with the presidential thing, that should really be interesting.
Right. I think that people ought to have little watch parties with maybe 3 to 5 friends, where you're distanced and wear your mask, and, you make comments and really enjoy it. So I'm going to make that suggestion to everyone to try and find your little cozy friend group, and whoever's got the biggest, best TV room, try and watch the debate. Be informed. Don't be a voter who doesn't have any idea what's going on. And you know, there's
one of them that really likes those kind of voters, though, I think.
Yeah, but there's other elections too.
Voters.
We're voting for a replacement for Bill Cassidy. We're voting for a replacement for Showboat Clay Higgins, and
the captain.
Yeah,
Captain Clay voting for somebody to get rid of Captain Clay.
So, and then there's, and I think there's actually some other things too, because I saw where there's some discussion about whatever it is, number 5 and number 8. And
oh yeah,
it says number 5, just vote no, but I don't know what it is, you know.
Now it would probably be.
So we need to look at that. Go to PARS, PARS, look that up on Google, and you can find out a whole lot about whatever's on the ballot. Always do that. PARS.
Yeah,
we don't have much time. Got 30 seconds, Hal.
Well, here's the whole ballot right here on my Go Vote. Go Vote app.
GAUX vote.
Yes. Easy to get, and it works like a champ. So, you know,
it's good. But you still have to mail in your ballots. If you're like overseas, you still have to mail your ballots.
The main thing is vote.
Absolutely. Come visit on Facebook. We'll put some of this stuff up there.
Oh, yeah.